Hi, good morning. Welcome to my vlog. I am Chioma Uche, but I prefer being called Oma. I love the feel it gives to me. Yeah, okay. If you're visiting for the first time, this vlog is about lifestyle, food, family, relationships, marriage, everything about womanhood, the teenagehood, growing up, and most especially storytelling. Yeah, if you love listening to good stories, when I say stories, I mean like very, very interesting stories. And mind you, all the stories are going to be real, like real life stories. Real life stories. I'm going to be giving you a whole lot of stories about my life, growing up, relationships, marriage, motherhood, in-laws, and a whole lot. So do well to stay glued to this page as we are going to be entertaining you back to back on very interesting stories. Now we are going to ease life for you instead of going through the stress of reading stories. You're just going to sit in your comfort and listen to beautiful stories. Don't mind me, oh. I be very local girl. Oh. Leave all these ones that speak in English. Nothing come out. Na pidgin. I grew up for Warri. Okay, literally, I was born in Warri, but then I grew up in Port Harcourt. Yes, I'm beginning to tell you stories already. You see. Okay, so I was born in Warri, Delta State. Then after a while, my parents moved. We moved plenty for this life. Okay, at least the ones that I know. We moved a whole lot, yeah. From Warri, we first moved to Imo State, or we're naked precisely. I was very little then, and I did my primary, some parts of my primary school actually there. Then after a while, we came to Port Harcourt. That is like the basic where we really lived for a very long period. Yeah, I can say, and that's where we actually found our, should I say, our arrests, because virtually all my siblings, just a few of them, are not in Port Harcourt. So we came to Port Harcourt. I did my primary school here. Uh, I did my secondary partly here in Port Harcourt, partly in Owerri. Then later on, I came back to Port Harcourt for completion of my secondary school, and I did my WAEC here as well in Port Harcourt, and I am here. I'm still living here. I've had children here. Like I am now a Port Harcourt citizen. Yes, that's the right word. I'm not a Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt, yeah, Port Harcourt citizen. A round of applause for me. Okay, so let's start today's story by telling you one of my biggest mistakes I made as a teenager. You see this story? A whole lot of people will be hearing it for the first time on this blog, including my husband. I'm sorry. I just withheld. I didn't see it to be necessary telling the story to him actually, but then I feel it's nice if I share it here because it's really will help a whole lot of young ladies, teenage girls actually coming up. So one of the times we moved, my parents and a few of my siblings, not all of us, we moved from a particular part of Port Harcourt we were living in. We were living then at a Warfare Road. That's where actually I did my Ada George. You should know there if you're Port Harcourt based, you're Ada George area. So for some reasons, my dad decided that we moved to a greater. So we moved, and then, man, it was not funny at all. My elder siblings trust those ones now. Big girls, big boys, they refuse joining. So me, I'm the last born, by the way. So I had no choice. I had to follow. So I got there. It was not so nice. I didn't like the environment. No, then I don't know. A greater of now should be very developed, but then it seemed more like a village, so it wasn't really fun for young ones living there, you get. So to me, because of where I was coming from, it just seemed like a punishment. So I found it difficult relating with the set of people there. But as time went on, I had no choice. I had to start adapting. Started My mom started farming there. My mama. Story for another day. She started farming there, started planting, joining the women there to plant cucumbers. Oh man, but that's one thing I love about Igrita. If you catch their cucumber, very healthy. I think one of these days we'll make a trip down there. Their cucumbers are very nice, very rich, and they really produce very big. I don't know. They don't use fertilizers. They don't use fertilizers. They don't use any sort of. But if you see, their land is really, really fertile. If you see their cucumbers, very big and healthy. I think they produce one of the biggest and very rich cucumbers I've ever come across. So then my mom started farming cucumber as well. Once in a while, though she didn't make it compulsory for us to join her to the farm, you get. So once in a while we'll just join her, because anyhow now your mama no go the farm, you go sit down for house. They as much as they did not ask you to come, when they come back, all the pain and anger now your body go collect. But if you go with her to the farm, as much as you're not even doing so much there, she really will appreciate it, and coming back it will be a whole lot of fun. You understand? You cook together, eat, and everybody is happy. So then once I did join her, go farm, we'll do the thing, we'll come back. So in the compound where we lived then, it's as I'm talking to you, I'm picturing the whole environment. Yeah, a public compound. We had the owners of the compound living there as well. Then it was more like two segments. We have the front parts and the back. So we were at the back, and we had people living in front, basically family members, more like a family compound. So the family members occupying the front part of the house. Then they built some houses actually behind for tenants, you get. So in there, the landlord's son, this guy, I can't remember, is it the first or the second, but I remember his name, Namdi. That name. This guy was more like a terror to all the teenage girls living in that compound. I'm so happy now that people are beginning to educate teenage girls to be outspoken, to share their experiences, and teenagers are beginning to be more informed. You understand? More informed about sexual harassment, about so many vices happening currently. Because back then, it was more like you don't like it, you did not succumb to it, but you can't speak. You can't tell anybody. If you talk, you become the victim. If you talk, you become the wayward one. You become they were actually denying. How do you defend? How do you prove? So it was more like you see, you shut your mouth. It happens to you, you shut your mouth. So then I had this friend in the compound. Her name is Sioma. Oh, ever since we left that compound, I've never set my eyes on her, no social media. I don't even know her surname, funny enough. So, but then most times I just sit and I picture her face and everything. So then she was living with her mom, but I think her mom was a single mom because we never got to see her dad. She was living there with her younger sibling, and as teenage girls, we discuss, then we come around, have you started seeing your period? What is it like? How many days and stuff? And this girl, I think she was about 3 years older than me, and then she wasn't seeing her period yet. Okay, as at the time we were in that compound, I as well wasn't seeing yet, but at some point it happened, and when it happened, I just discovered, okay, then I have sisters here. Like I said, I'm the last, and I have three elder sisters, so I was already used to the whole, I was seeing the movements, the whole thing. So when it happened, I got back from school that day. I was about going to worship when I noticed, and I came to my mom like, see you. She said, okay, come, take this, this is what you should use, and this is what you should do. No much of education then. It was just a thing of, okay, you see pad, this is what you do, and boom, that's it. You're left to your fate. Okay, so when it started, out of excitement, I had to go and tell Isoma, Isoma, see you. Me too, I started though. She became sad, like gloomy, very weak, and I was like, Isoma, are you okay? What's the problem? She said that she haven't started seeing her period yet. I was shocked because I felt, oh, at this age, I was 14 then, thereabout. So I felt at this age, and she's my senior, like she was already 16, going 17 then, and she hadn't started her period. I was like, okay, just relax. I think it's your body or something, or maybe your family. Soon you'll start. So she took my advice, she relaxed, we became happy and jolly again. But after a while, back to the Nnamdi story, I remember mentioning his name. So I started noticing Isioma was always going to Nnamdi's room. This guy, you see our age then, and this guy, very mature guy, I think he should be around 27, 26. I don't know, I can't tell his age, but then he's someone we call brother Nnamdi, you get. So Isioma was always going to his house. When I asked them, what are you going to do with other kids here, not just her, what are you guys always doing in Nnamdi's room? They'll tell me they are going to see movies. He has a lot of movies and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, movie to somebody's room to watch movie? I can't do. So I noticed it was more than that, because whenever they went in there, I don't hear any sounds of movie, and when they come out, the expression on their faces were. So one day, sneaky me now, busybody is my second name, I want to know everything. So one of the days Isioma went in to his room to watch movie. I was just so uncomfortable and restless. I just said, okay, let me go and know what's happening. I went to the door. I knocked first. Nobody answered. I was like, what? So I turned, went through the window. Getting to the window, man, I peeped through, and I saw Isioma naked. I was like, what's going on? With the whole fear and anxiety, I rushed time, and she ran out as well. Like, Choma, and calm down. What's going on? What was that I saw? She was like, okay, she didn't want to give in. Nnamdi has been disturbing her for a while, always telling her to come to his room. He wanted to show her something, and that he has shown virtually all the teenage girls in the compound. I said, nobody has shown me anything, no. So not every. She said, no, that I should calm down, that she wants to explain to me that she was scared that she haven't started seeing her period. She had a discussion with him, and he told her that the best way to get it activated is to have sex. How? She then was like, Chama, didn't you do it before you also? I do what? That's the biggest lie of all time. How could he? I was so scared. You know, that's naive. I was so scared for her, and I was like, Isioma, did you do it? She was about saying yes. She said no. I was like, Isioma, just tell me the truth. I'm not telling anybody. I'm not telling your mom. It's just between us. Did you do it? She said yes, that she did. Oh, I was so weak. I became very weak. Like, it hurts me so bad that she had to lose her virginity in such way. And this guy, this brother Namdi, was always coming to the house with different girls. So, and he still they took eye for small children that were in the compound. So it was so painful, but we couldn't talk to anybody. We couldn't tell anyone. So one of the days, he called me. I think he later discovered from Isioma that I was aware of what happened. So in a bid to keep himself safe, he wanted to lure me into the same activity. So there was no way I was going to go by anybody when I too have done the do. So he called me into his room, and I told you my mom was not always around during the day because her farm was very important to her. It's either they were planting or they were harvesting or she was going to sell. And my dad too, no, he wasn't at home. He was always going to work. I told you my older siblings, they moved down there with us. It was just I and my sister, yeah, Onyeka, and she was not always at home as well. So in the afternoon, the compound actually was more it was filled more with children, teenagers in the afternoon after coming back from school, you understand. So he called me that day that he needed to see me. I was like, why? That I should come to his room. After much pestering, I went. I got there, I sat down, like, yeah, I'm here. So next thing, he came to where I was sitting. Was touching my laps. I was like, Oga, please, I don't understand. Brother, you said you wanted to see me. What? He then said that, what did Isioma tell me? I said, well, Isioma, it depends on what you mean. What did Isioma tell me? Which of the days? I was just acting like I didn't understand what he was saying. He was like, I should stop pretending that Isioma already told him that I'm aware of what they did, that he was only trying to help her, so I shouldn't get anyone involved, I shouldn't tell anybody. I said, okay, fine, I've heard. I stood up. I was about leaving. He pulled me back that, don't I think I should try it? So I was like, try what? He then withdrew. He noticed I wasn't that growing up, I wasn't timid. I sabi talk. My mouth they run. You understand? So he knew that this one, I had nuts to crackle. So he then said, okay, fine. It's not like he's going to force me, that if I don't want the main deal, he could just use his fingers. I was like, Jesus Christ. Use your fingers to do what? God. Immediately, I was going to scream, Oga, if you don't leave me, I'll start shouting. And people, I was threatening to shout. He then said, oh, okay, it's fine. He opened the door and I left. When I left, I had to like, Jesus, have mercy. I called Isioma. I was like, Isioma, how many other people have gone through the same thing? How many others in this compound do you know that Brother Namdi have taken into his room? She said she knows about 3. I was like, Mogbe, is this what is happening? But do you know the bad parts? We couldn't talk. I couldn't tell my mom. I couldn't tell my dad. I couldn't tell my older sister. Isioma as well could not tell her mom what happened. It was just a thing of, how do we start? Who do we share this with? Will they believe us? Wouldn't they think it was how? It was so heavy to even, just so heavy to discuss. And then parents of then, they were not paying attention at all. I don't know, maybe most of you were lucky enough to have parents who really paid attention, you get. But the only attention we got then was those strict warnings of don't do this, don't go there, don't talk that. If you do like this, you do like that, they see you on the road, why are you there, why are you bending, why are you standing, why are you walking, things like that. There was no relationship discussions, trying to know your experiences, trying to know how life was treating you and stuff. So Isioma regretted it actually. And I was a church girl, yes, I didn't mention that, but I love God. I love God. Like, then growing up, my dad even used to flog me because of too much going to church. Yes, so I'm very serious. Like, I used to go to church every day. I'll come back from school, I'll run to church. My mom would tell me, if your dad catches you, you can go, but when you come back and they ask you, don't tell them that it was me. Oh. So it was more like I had to lead her to Christ. I talked to her. I told her that God would forgive her, but I was scared for her. I was scared because we were informed about diseases, we were informed about pregnancy. So, Isioma, what if any of these things happen? How are you going to take it? How is your mom going to take it? Lucky enough, I don't know how they did their thing. Maybe he didn't come inside or something. So she didn't get pregnant for as long as we lived in that compound. God's so kind. I had to move. I left. I went to Owerri for my schooling because it became more like I had something I was scared of, because whenever I saw that Brandon, my heart raced, and it was just like, oh God, this guy should not come and catch me one corner and do whatever to me, you understand? So the environment wasn't so conducive. Excuse me. The environment wasn't so conducive for me any longer, and luckily for me, we moved again. Yes, we moved again. My dad got a contract in Owerri and we had to move again. And I, as the handbag, moved with them. I went to a school in Owerri, my girls. Do you know that school? I will give you gist about that. But it's a famous school, oh, one of our celebrity school there. I'll tell you on our next episode. Did you enjoy my story? I don't know. I talk plenty. Oh my God. I can talk sharp. When I'm talking, I know the bar break. It go just they go. But then I have very interesting story. Like, if I start talking about my life, you see me, this person you're seeing here. If I start talking about my life, I go tire for gist, because my life is full of a whole lot of happenings, both the good, the bad, the ugly. I've had very ugly experiences, like, and all of these have been bottled up for so long, and I think I'm ready to start sharing my stories, and not just for the fun of it, but I need teenage girls, I need mothers, I need our sisters and aunties and guardians to learn from them. Please, one of the things I would encourage us to always do, bring our teenage girls close. Yeah, the boys inclusive, because boys get harassed as well by aunties, friends living around. You get, my husband, oh, fine boy, see his eyes, see his lips, see his this, and before you know, they are beginning to do one or two arala. When I say arala, I mean like one or two conning and you understand that? I don't want to mention the name. Yeah. So then we need to pay attention. Yes, let's pay attention to the upcoming ones. If we really need to change this generation, if we really need to change this generation, we have to pay attention to the generation. Not just about us, it's about them. Because if we don't work on them, our own tenure will soon expire. They'll be the ones to take over. And if we don't work on them, it becomes a huge problem. Okay, guys, bye for now. See you on another episode of Almost Cabin. Almost Cabin. Bye bye.